What if I told you that the Lungu family's powerful image in Zambia has just been shattered, not in Lusaka, but in a South African courtroom? Tonight, we uncover the shocking scandal that Operation Dudula has exposed: the Lungu family's failure to pay their own lawyers. Is this just financial trouble, or a bigger sign of political collapse? Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about the Lungu legacy. A courtroom scandal has rocked the Lungu family in South Africa. Reports reveal that the family has allegedly failed to pay their legal team, triggering chaos and fueling anger from groups like Operation Dudula. In this video, we dig deep into why the Lungu family's lawyer payment scandal is making headlines, how Operation Dudula is pressuring South Africa over the Lungu case, what this means for Lungu's legal battles in Zambia and beyond. This is not just a legal issue, it's a political earthquake with consequences for Zambia's future. A storm brewing in Pretoria. Imagine a courtroom in Pretoria, South Africa, where emotions run high, accusations fly, and the legacy of a former president hangs in the balance. The air is thick with tension as lawyers pace, mourners weep, and a nation watches from afar. This is no ordinary legal battle. It's a saga that intertwines grief, politics, and whispers of scandal. At the heart of it all is the family of Zambia's late former president Edgar Lungu, locked in a bitter dispute with their government over his final resting place. But beneath the surface, rumors swirl, allegations of financial misconduct, unpaid legal fees, and shadowy dealings that threaten to tarnish reputations across borders. Why is this fight so fierce? Who stands to gain from the chaos? And what does it mean for Zambia's future? This is the story of a courtroom drama that has gripped South Africa and Zambia, fueled by a feud between a grieving family and a determined government. It's a tale of loyalty, betrayal, and the high stakes of political legacy. As we unravel the layers of this controversy, prepare to be drawn into a web of legal battles, public outrage, and questions about power that resonate far beyond the courtroom walls. Let's dive into the chaos and uncover the truth behind the Lungu family's fight, the whispers of a lawyer payment scandal, and the shadow of Operation Dudula looming over South Africa. Lungu family faces lawyer crisis. The death of Edgar Lungu on June 5, 2025, in a Pretoria hospital marked the beginning of a saga that would spiral into chaos. Lungu, Zambia's president from 2015 to 2021, left behind a complex legacy and a family determined to honor his wishes. But their plans for a private burial in South Africa clashed with the Zambian government's insistence on a state funeral in Lusaka. The Pretoria High Court became the battleground, and the Lungu family's legal team, led by prominent advocates like Makibi Zulu and later Tembika Ngukuratobi SC, found themselves under intense scrutiny. Rumors of a lawyer payment scandal emerged from public discourse, particularly on platforms like X, where users speculated about the financial burdens of the prolonged legal fight. Posts suggested the Lungu family was wasting resources on high-profile lawyers, with some accusing them of funneling ill-gotten wealth to fund their case. While no concrete evidence of a payment scandal appears in the provided sources, the narrative gained traction due to the family's high legal costs and the involvement of celebrated South African advocate Tembika Ngukuratobi, known for his work on constitutional law and international cases. The crisis deepened as the family's legal strategy faltered. Makibi Zulu, the family's initial spokesperson, faced criticism for his handling of the case, with one source describing his arguments as amateurish and self-defeating. In a dramatic courtroom moment, Zulu admitted Lungu had expressed a desire to be flown back to Zambia on a private jet, undermining the family's claim that he wanted a South African burial. This misstep fueled speculation about mismanagement and financial strain. Hiring Ngukuratobi, a legal heavyweight, suggested the family was doubling down, but at what cost? Public sentiment on X painted a picture of a family struggling to maintain control, with one user sarcastically noting, "The lawyer is smiling from the bank all the way to the salon." The lawyer crisis wasn't just about money, it was about trust. The family's insistence on a private burial, citing Lungu's wish to exclude President Hakainde Hichilema, raised questions about their motives. Were they protecting Lungu's legacy, or hiding something deeper? The financial angle, while unproven, added fuel to the fire, with critics suggesting the family's resources were tied to Lungu's controversial tenure, marked by allegations of corruption. As the legal bills piled up, the Lungu family faced a dilemma: continue the fight and risk further public backlash, or concede to the government's demands and lose control of their patriarch's legacy. Operation Dudula's pressure in South Africa. As the courtroom drama unfolded, a nationalist movement in South Africa added another layer of complexity: Operation Dudula. This controversial group, known for its anti-immigrant stance, has been vocal about prioritizing South African interests. In the context of Lungu's case, Operation Dudula's influence was felt indirectly, as their broader campaign against foreign nationals in South Africa created a tense backdrop for the legal proceedings. A post on X highlighted their ambition, stating they required $100 million in funding to build momentum for upcoming elections, signaling their growing political clout. Operation Dudula's rhetoric resonates with some South Africans frustrated by economic challenges and immigration. The Lungu family's decision to pursue a burial in South Africa, rather than Zambia, drew attention from such groups, who saw it as an example of foreign nationals leveraging South African resources. While there's no direct evidence of Operation Dudula intervening in the Lungu case, their presence amplified public scrutiny. Posts on X accused the Lungu family of evading law and seeking free healthcare in South Africa, reflecting a sentiment that aligned with Dudula's nationalist agenda. This pressure complicated the family's position. South Africa's courts, already navigating a delicate diplomatic issue, faced the added challenge of public opinion shaped by groups like Operation Dudula. The movement's influence raised questions. Was the Lungu family's insistence on a South African burial seen as an affront to national sovereignty? Did their legal battles fuel anti-immigrant sentiment? The interplay between the court case and South Africa's socio-political climate underscored the broader implications of the dispute, turning a family's grief into a lightning rod for nationalist debates. How the scandal impacts Zambia. The alleged lawyer payment scandal, though speculative, reverberated across Zambia, where Lungu's legacy remains polarizing. His tenure was marked by infrastructure projects, but also accusations of financial mismanagement and corruption. The suggestion that his family was using ill-gotten wealth to fund their legal fight in South Africa reignited debates about accountability. X posts accused the Lungu family of emptying the coffers of Zambians and evading justice, reflecting deep-seated resentment among some citizens. The court battle over Lungu's burial exposed Zambia's political fault lines. Supporters of Lungu's Patriotic Front, PF, viewed the government's push for a state funeral as a power grab by President Hichilema, whom they accused of persecuting Lungu's allies. Critics, however, saw the family's resistance as an attempt to shield Lungu's legacy from scrutiny. The financial angle, whether real or perceived, added to the narrative of a family clinging to power and privilege. One ex-user remarked, "The so-called family accepted to enjoy the money and all the privileges that go with the office," suggesting their legal fight was an extension of past excesses. The scandal's impact extended to Zambia's international image. The prolonged dispute, played out in South African courts, raised questions about Zambia's ability to handle its internal affairs. Historian Sishiwa criticized the government's approach as culturally insensitive, arguing it deepened political divisions. The specter of a financial scandal involving lawyers only heightened public distrust, with some Zambians wondering if the government's pursuit was driven by political vendettas rather than national interest. As the case dragged on, it became a symbol of unresolved tensions, threatening Zambia's unity and stability. Lungu family's court battles explained. The Lungu family's legal saga began on June 25, 2025, when a South African court halted a private burial in Johannesburg, just hours before it was set to occur. The Zambian government, led by Attorney General Mulalo Kabesha, argued that Lungu, as a former president, deserved a state funeral at Embassy Park in Lusaka, in line with national tradition. The family, however, cited Lungu's wish to exclude Hichilema, his political rival, from the proceedings, opting for a private ceremony in South Africa. The Pretoria High Court's ruling on August 8, 2025, favored the government, ordering the family to surrender Lungu's body for repatriation. Judge Aubrey Ledwaba emphasized that a former president's personal wishes could not override the state's right to honor him. The family, led by Esther Lungu, appealed to the Constitutional Court, arguing that the ruling violated their dignity and cultural rights. Their appeal was dismissed on August 26, 2025, upholding the High Court's decision. The family's legal missteps, including Zulu's contradictory statements, weakened their case. Hiring Ngukuratobi signaled a shift to a more aggressive strategy, but the Constitutional Court's refusal to grant direct access meant the case would drag on through the Supreme Court of Appeal. The prolonged battle, coupled with public accusations of financial impropriety, painted the family as obstinate, even as they claimed to be defending Lungu's wishes. The courtroom became a stage for grief and politics, with each ruling deepening the divide between the family and the state. The bigger political picture. The Lungu-Hichilema feud is central to this saga. During Lungu's presidency, Hichilema was detained on treason charges in 2017, a grudge that lingered after Hichilema's 2021 election victory. Lungu's post-presidency was marked by accusations of harassment, including claims of house arrest and travel restrictions, which the government denied. The burial dispute became a proxy for this rivalry, with the family's resistance seen as a stand against Hichilema's authority. The case also highlighted broader issues of power and legacy in African politics. Similar disputes, like those over Robert Mugabe's burial, underscored the tension between state protocol and personal wishes. In Zambia, the Patriotic Front accused Hichilema of using the funeral to bolster his image, while his supporters argued he was upholding national tradition. The alleged lawyer payment scandal, though unproven, fed into narratives of corruption that have long plagued Zambian politics, with Lungu's allies facing ongoing investigations. South Africa's role as the legal battleground added a diplomatic dimension. The case tested international law on repatriating dignitaries, with South Africa balancing its obligations to Zambia and the Lungu family's rights. Operation Dudula's influence further complicated matters, as their nationalist rhetoric resonated with those questioning the family's actions. The saga became a microcosm of regional tensions, where personal grief collided with political maneuvering. What this means for HH and Zambia's future. For President Hakainde Hichilema, the dispute is a double-edged sword. Winning the legal battle reinforced his authority, but the public fallout risks alienating Lungu's supporters. Sishiwa warned that Hichilema's failure to de-escalate could deepen divisions, feeding perceptions of a vendetta. The government's insistence on a state funeral, while legally upheld, was seen by some as heavy-handed, especially amid whispers of occult motives in a country where such beliefs are widespread. The alleged scandal over lawyer payments, though speculative, could further damage Hichilema's image if linked to his administration's pursuit of Lungu's allies. Posts on X accusing the family of plundering Zambia's resources reflect a public ready to believe the worst of both sides. As Zambia approaches the 2026 elections, Hichilema must navigate this controversy carefully to maintain national unity. The case also sets a precedent for how Zambia handles the legacies of its leaders. A resolution that respects both state protocol and family wishes could heal wounds, but continued acrimony risks further polarization. The government's ability to manage this crisis will shape its credibility, both domestically and internationally. Final analysis and wrap-up. The chaos in Pretoria's courts is more than a legal dispute, it's a window into the soul of Zambian politics. The Lungu family's fight to honor their patriarch's wishes clashed with a government determined to claim his legacy, creating a spectacle that captivated two nations. The whispers of a lawyer payment scandal, while unproven, reflect the deep mistrust that permeates this saga. Was the family protecting Lungu's dignity or shielding their own interests? Did the government seek national honor or political gain? Operation Dudula's shadow looms large, amplifying the case's resonance in South Africa's charged political climate. For Zambia, the dispute underscores the fragility of unity in a nation divided by past grievances. As the legal battle continues, one thing is clear. Edgar Lungu's legacy, like his body, remains in limbo, a symbol of a nation grappling with its past and its future. What happens next? Will the Lungu family find peace, or will the courts deliver another blow? Can Hichilema bridge the divide, or will this saga fuel unrest? Only time will tell, but the echoes of this courtroom chaos will linger long after the gavel falls.